Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Suits and Laterals Super Bowl special. I am Mitch Gatsky. He is Evan Skilleter. First of all, how you doing, Ev?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm also doing well. I have zero complaints. Everything is going very well for me, both professionally, personally, and extracurricularly. And I'm excited. We've got a great
Good.
game on our hands. And Evan and I came up, I floated him the idea, a bit of a different idea for us on the show today, to treat this Super Bowl special kind of like a court case. And Evan signed off on it. So what we're going to be doing today is presenting to you, the listeners, our jurors, our case for this year's Super Bowl. It is, of course, the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. Evan, who have you chosen to represent this week?
I will be representing the Falcons.
Okay, and I was really hoping that you would say that because I, of course, am sticking with the New England Patriots. That's the team that I picked to start this shindig way back in our wild card weekend preview. So yeah, I'm riding and I'm dying with the Patriots. So let's jump right into this thing. Do you have an opening statement for us, Evan?
Yes, my opening statement isn't probably or won't be as well articulated as some lawyers would articulate their opening statements, but I will simply say that the Falcons are on fire. They've scored no less than 33 points in their last 6 games, and I don't think any team can stop them.
That's all.
That's it. That's all I need.
Okay.
We'll get more into it. What's your opening
Well,
statement?
yeah, this is just the appetizer, just the teaser to try to set us up here. So my feeling is the Atlanta Falcons are a great team. There's no questioning that. Their offense has put up historic numbers this year, but this game is all about the New England Patriots. Matt Ryan has been tremendous this season, probably going to end up winning the MVP. But Tom Brady, the greatest to ever do it, will not be overshadowed. Now, first witness. We're going to either talk about some kind of stat or fact or key to the game that we think will help our side. So, Evan, do you want to start it off or do you want me to start?
You started off. I made my opening statement first.
Okay. All right. So, my first witness, it's going to be that defense is the key. All anyone's talking about in this game and the build-up for this game is both offenses. And I think the key really does lie in the defenses because someone finally dug up the fact that the Patriots D is actually the best in the league. Evan, the Chiefs, Vikings, Cowboys, Broncos, Seahawks, and Giants are all teams that we've mentioned as having good defenses or great defenses, or we've commended their defense in some way on this show throughout the season. All of those teams. The Pats are actually better than all of them by virtue of the only defensive stat that really matters, and that's points allowed per game. Now, one of the biggest knocks on this, I think, is a lot of people are saying the Patriots, they haven't played any real QBs, any good QBs. Well, that doesn't mean that they can't defend them. It only means that they haven't gotten the opportunities, right? You can only play who you play. Now, Seattle was the only team to legitimately beat New England, I'd say. I mean, they lost to the Bills, but that was the 4th game of the season. Brady wasn't there, and we knew they weren't going to go 4-0 without him. So I chalked that one up as, kind of whatever. So the Seahawks, in order to beat the Patriots, they turned them over in the fourth quarter fumble. They turned it into a touchdown and then hung on for dear life as Brady marched all the way down the field. Ironically, the Seahawks made a goal line stand in the last minute to win this game. And frankly, I don't see the Falcons pulling that off. What say you? any cross-examination you have for me and the points that I just brought up.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, the Patriots have the edge over the Falcons' defense, but the Falcons' offense is incredible. And, I've already mentioned it. Last 6 games, they've scored no less than 33 points. They've scored 28 in all but 3 of their games this season. Four of their games this season, they scored at least 28. So the point is, and I guess I'll bring in my first witness.
Go ahead, please.
Julio Jones, right? So this guy, he'll either torch the Patriots or he'll draw enough attention to where the other good receivers on the team, Mohamed Sanu, Jacob Tamme, the tight end, Taylor Gabriel, so where those guys will get some good looks. So one single guy in Julio Jones will absolutely torment the Patriots, whether it's directly or indirectly. This Patriots secondary isn't good enough to defend the whole field against 3 or 4 legitimate targets, 5 if you count the guy coming out of the backfield, whether it's Tevin Coleman or Devonta Freeman, excuse me. The Patriots don't have the defensive secondary to contain that, and really no team has. So, yeah, they have a good defense, but their secondary is not good enough to keep up with all those targets, and they're going to get outscored.
3rd and 4th ranked teams in the NFL, by the way, in terms of turnover differential. I found that pretty interesting. New England, the slight edge with 23 takeaways to Atlanta's 22.
This is plus 22 or
correct
23 total? Okay.
Right. And differential. They are plus 22. They've taken the ball away. The Patriots 23 times, turned it over 11 times. Falcons also turning it over 11 times, but only forcing the turnover 22 times. So for me, I mean, we've just seen it that bend but don't break style works in the NFL in these big games. For whatever reason, the Patriots have mastered that style of defense. We've seen it. Saw it last week when they just frustrated the Steelers the entire game, let them go up and down the field. But once they get in the red zone, it's a different story. And teams, for whatever reason, often cannot find the end zone. Yet still we act like the Pats are some sort of team that's all offense. And I think for me, that's what it comes down to is when you're looking at the Falcons, you're looking at Matt Ryan, his core of receivers, which tremendous, just like you've run through and highlighted all of the things that those guys bring to the table. But when you look at the Patriots, it's the offense and the defense that goes along with it. And defense wins championships, Ev. And this is the Super Bowl. This is the championship. I'm going with the team with the better defense.
So, how many points do you think the Falcons will score?
We'll get into picks at the very end. We'll make our closing arguments. I guess, the closing argument can be our final pick for the game. What do you say?
Yeah, that's fine. I guess it just goes along with the defense discussion, but I suppose we can wait. So what's your next
I want to
point?
make people wait.
Okay. What's your next point?
Your next point. I started.
My next point. Well, you mentioned the Patriots are a good offensive and defensive team, but if I look at the Patriots offense, I do see quite a few points scored. However, I'm not quite sure if I'm buying the Patriots against good defenses. The Steelers, not so good at defense. The Texans, not so good at defense.
Wait. Repeat that?
The Steelers, not so good at defense. The Texans, okay. The Texans have some good defensive players, but throughout the course of the season, I would say the Texans, not the best defense. The Patriots scored 34 against them. Okay. Then the Patriots scored 35 against the Dolphins. Not the best defense. 41 against the Jets. Now you get to the Broncos. Good defense. Patriots score 16. Get to the Ravens, not so good, 30 points. Rams, not so good, 26 points. Jets, not particularly good, 22 points. 49ers. I mean, you're going through this schedule and you're seeing a bunch of teams that just aren't really that great. And then you get to Seattle, week 10. We already talked about that one. Patriots scored 24 points. Against the Bills, Patriots scored 41. Bills have a pretty solid defense, so that's a good game. But so what I'm getting at here,
it's like you only have points.
I'm glad you said that. What I'm trying to get to here is that the Patriots have a good offense. They'll be able to put up a decent amount of points against the Falcons, but I don't see them scoring 30 to 35 points. I see them scoring less than 30, and I don't see them holding the Falcons to less than 30. So, it could be a shootout, but no matter how good the Patriots defense is, the Falcons are still going to put up a ton of points, and the Patriots aren't going to be able to keep up with them.
The supporting cast that you're attacking here for the Patriots, the lack of name recognition does not equal lack of quality in that group. And you saw a perfect example last week against the Steelers, 2 weeks ago against the Steelers. Chris Hogan comes out of nowhere, 9 grabs, 180 yards, 2 scores. Like, are you kidding me? And the Patriots, more than any team, seem to have a knack for doing this. They find guys off the scrap heap who nobody else seemingly wanted on their team, and they bring them in, and there's something magical, and it's ridiculous to say, but there really is something to it when you look at the track record. Just very little known guys stepping up in big spots. I expect Chris Hogan to do the same thing this Sunday. And another guy that I like is LeGarrette Blount. And I think he's the X factor more than any other player or anything in this game. If he runs the ball well, I'm not sure how the Falcons get the steps they need. And if he doesn't, it's going to be a very difficult uphill battle for Brady in that offense. The Falcons do rush the passer well, and they are going to put up the points. So LeGarrette Blount being able to run the ball, give Brady and the receivers a breather, keep those chains moving, keep the clock rolling so that the Patriots defense can also get a rest. I like the matchup for Blount. He's a power guy, and I expect him to do his thing on Sunday and help the Patriots to a big win.
Great. I honest to God, I don't have many more points, man. It's like, to me, it comes down to the Falcons offense, right? I truly believe that they'll be able to score a lot of points as long as the moment doesn't get too big for Matt Ryan, who's never been there. You do have the experience factor between Ryan and Brady. Brady's been to, I think, what is this, his 100th Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan hasn't been to any. So there is that experience factor. But as long as he stays within himself and they play the offense that they know how to play, then I really don't see a problem here for the Falcons. And I'm sorry, it's kind of a boring sentiment, but it really is the case to me. Falcons just score too many points.
So it's that simple to you. It's just the Falcons offense overpowering the Patriots, and there's nothing Tom Brady can do about it?
Tom Brady can if he puts up 35, 42 points, but I just don't see that happening.
Doubting that happen. Okay.
Yeah, well, if he does score 42, I think the Falcons score 43. I just think
Okay.
they have 10 answers on offense, and I just don't see the Patriots being able, with that great defense, they won't be able to stop them.
Well, Ev, my last point is that man, Tom Brady. Quite simply, Your Honor, he's the greatest to ever do it. This is his first chance to get to 5 Super Bowl titles, which would, I believe, be an unparalleled accomplishment. Montana's got 4, if I'm not mistaken. And it's far easier for me. This is what it all comes down to. It's far easier for me to see him willing his team to victory than it is for me to see him allowing his team to lose. Not this year, not after the Deflategate stuff, and he'll downplay it and say it's not a factor, but it is. When you're suspended for 4 games to start the year, you want to win the last game of the year. I mean, obviously you want to do that every year, but added incentive for Brady with all that's going on with him. The Trump questions won't go away, and people starting to question how long he'll be able to do this. I think it all amounts to just the perfect night for him, and he gets the job done. So, with that being said, why don't we get into some numbers? What do you got? What's the final score?
42-31 Falcons.
Okay. I'm going to go 38-34 Patriots.
That's a better game to watch, I suppose.
I'm hoping for a great game. Either way it goes, I would love to see the Super Bowl come down to the last play like we saw with the Seahawks and Patriots. Did you catch that mention earlier?
I did, yeah.
I wonder if anybody else will, but I hope you do. Because that was just a classic, an instant classic Super Bowl, and those are fun to see.
The only reason that I wouldn't mind seeing the Patriots win is because I can't wait to see Roger Goodell shake Tom Brady's hand.
Oh yeah,
on live TV.
So many people want to see that.
Yeah.
So
that'll be cool.
That'll be one of those internet memes, because one of them's gonna have a face on, and it'll just be a thing.
I don't know. Tom Brady's pretty classy, and Goodell, he's not really a classy individual, but he tries to put on that public smile. So I don't know. You'll just know it's awkward. Anyone that understands the situation even a little bit will know how awkward that is for both of them. So that's exciting to me.
So as far as Super Bowl culture goes, because we know there's a whole, there really is a whole lifestyle of the Super Bowl of this weekend. Evan, and do you normally get a group of guys together, watch it at your crib, or you go out to the bar? What's normally Evan Skiller's plan for the Super Bowl?
I like to watch it at a house or an apartment. I don't like to go to the bars or any bar to watch.
A private place.
Yeah, somewhere private. Get a couple guys together. Historically, I'd eat a bunch of chicken wings and stuff like that, but I'm not eating meat, so I don't know what maybe.
So what's on the menu for the newly vegetarian?
Yeah, it's got to be like bean chili.
Okay.
You can have nachos with beans and cheese.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you can make some mean nachos without meat.
Anything with beans, really.
So you're big into beans now.
Hey, I'm big into beans and peanut butter. I could eat peanut butter and jellies all day. I kind of do that sometimes.
What about squares? How do you feel about these squares where you get the random numbers?
Yeah, I did that one time. I can't remember what year it was. Squares are fun. There's really no.
Are they?
Well, there's no strategy involved, right? It's cool.
That's my thing.
It's cool to follow it and root for your number to win, but there's no strategy to it. So, if me and you played squares and you won, it wouldn't mean that you're smarter than I am. Because we all know that's not the case anyway.
Well, no, not at all. Of course
right.
Not. But I'm saying, if you get a 1 and a 5 in the first quarter, what the hell are you going to do with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then it just feels like it's totally throwing money away, those squares. I can't do the squares. What about prop bets? Are you into any of
prop bets?
This is a huge prop bet day, like the biggest, really. Over under on the anthem. What do you think? Time it takes for whoever to sing the anthem.
Yeah, that I would probably go with. How long is it if you just sing it normal? 2 minutes and 13 seconds?
I'm not sure.
It'll be over that. It'll be over the norm.
That's what I feel.
Probably by 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, it's the Super Bowl. Whoever's singing it is going to take their time with it. Got to take the over there.
Who
Um,
is singing?
I really don't know. Um, Probably, let's see. It's in Houston. It's probably some country guy.
Great.
But the halftime show, Lady Gaga. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love her. Um,
Now, so are you one to watch the halftime show, the commercials, all that goes, with the game that's not the game? Do you watch all that, or do you tune it out?
yes.
Okay.
So I generally like the commercials. This year I'll probably pay closer attention because in some of my or one of my classes we talk a lot about advertisements and kind of how commercials and advertisements have shifted and changed over the years. So I'll definitely be watching those closely. The Super Bowl, the halftime show, it's kind of whatever to me. Last year didn't Beyonce and Coldplay make kind of a political statement? I could probably do without political statements within the halftime show, but
Yeah, it'd
it's
be great.
a
It'd be
free
great for
country.
just a day to not have a political statement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, I can't wait for someone to reference President Trump, and that's gonna be great. Whatever, you can't escape it. But
No,
what
you
about
really
you? You like
can't.
the commercials?
I do. I think the last 2 or 3 years, man, they've been really lackluster, I think. You used to have those really funny commercials with whatever it was, Doritos, Mountain Dew. The E-Trade Baby was a great one, those few that they had. You
Yeah,
have
well,
those great funny ones that stick out in your mind, but the last couple of years, I don't can't think of anything noteworthy, really.
yeah. One of the things that's kind of happening and one of the shifts that we're seeing is that people are starting to get away from the clever, intelligent, humorous commercials and trying to do ones that just stick with you. So last year, the prime example was that stupid puppy monkey baby or whatever it was, where you just had this absolutely weird commercial that just stuck in people's head. There's nothing clever about it. It's just obnoxious, and all of a sudden, that's the most popular one out there. So that's one thing to watch. I know we're getting away from sports and talking more about
No,
advertisement, but whatever.
it's all related. It's all the Super Bowl, and this, like I said, this thing kind of has a culture of its own. Um, Really, how do you feel about this? Monday should be a national holiday, no?
Oh, absolutely.
Or at
I'm
least like
glad.
a
I'm glad the
decent
Super Bowl starts early. I'm glad the Super Bowl starts earlier than like the college basketball national championship game. Literally 3 hours earlier, um, which is very nice because by the time the Super Bowl's over, it's only 10 o'clock. You can still go to bed at a decent hour on the East Coast. So,
Well, I
um,
mean, the thing with the Super Bowl is the commercial breaks. That's what makes the game take so long.
yeah, and that's fair. I mean, it's kind of become a part of our culture.
Yeah.
It's the Super Bowl and it's the commercials. It's not just the Super Bowl. It's not just the World Series or um, just the Stanley Cup.
Well, and that's why I think the Super Bowl, it is one event where everybody can tune in. The Stanley Cup is a series, the World Series, obviously NBA is a series. The Super Bowl, it's one game everybody's watching because it's a Sunday night in the middle of winter. Nobody else has got anything better to do. Even if you're not a football fan, you're watching the game. That's just cool. And, to be on Twitter, you really see it on Twitter when these big games are going on and everybody's on Twitter talking about it. Everybody's got an opinion. That is very cool to see. So, I mean, we are in a new age, new advertising, new media, and all this. And it's all tied into the Super Bowl. Evan, I think that's going to do it for me. Without anything else to say, I part you all with my usual three things: support your local businesses, tip well, and remember to say please, thank you, and you're welcome. Have a great week. Go Pats. And we'll talk to you next week. We're going to recap the Super Bowl and, run down some commercials. It should be fun. Until then.
Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Go Falcons. Stay right. Stay real. I love you.